All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a platform called Traffic Zest, which promises something every affiliate marketer is chasing: instant, easy access to a flood of online traffic. So, picture this, right? The core idea is just incredibly simple. You've got a product, an offer, something to sell. Now, instead of all that slow, hard work of building an audience from scratch, what if you could just buy one? Pay a fee, and bam, instantly your offer is in front of thousands of potential customers. That's the powerful, almost seductive promise we're looking at today. But you know how it is. If it sounds too good to be true, there's usually a catch, and there's a huge debate around this. Critics argue you're not getting a fresh, engaged audience. Instead, you're getting people who are just exhausted from being sold to, day after day. This is the central conflict we're going to unpack. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to look under the hood. What exactly is Traffic Zest, and how does this whole thing actually work? Okay, so what we're talking about here is a solo ad marketplace, but here's the key detail. Traffic Zest doesn't own some giant single email list. Think of it more like a middleman or a broker. It connects you with dozens of individual marketers who are selling access to their lists. It's basically a one-stop shop for solo ads. All right, let's start with the good stuff, the case for using a platform like this. I mean, people who love it are talking about some seriously high returns and just incredible speed. So this 200%, where does that even come from? Well, it's from a test campaign run by a marketer who's making seven figures, a guy named James Fawcett. He spent just over $400, and from a single sale, he made back $800. That's a 200% return on his investment, almost instantly. You can see why that's so appealing, right? And Fawcett's whole argument is basically this: with the right offer, and this is the key part, with the right tracking, the platform absolutely works. For him, it's a solid, reliable source of traffic, especially if you're in that make money online space. But for people who are all in on this, it's not just about how fast it is. It's about control. They point to all these features that really make you feel like you're in charge. You can target specific niches like health or finance. You can filter for traffic from only top-tier countries like the US. You can handpick your vendors, and you get all these detailed reports. The whole idea is to make it feel super transparent and like you're making smart, data-driven decisions. Okay, but that's just one side of the coin. Let's flip it over and look at the case against it, which argues that the whole solo ad model is fundamentally flawed, and it can be a huge financial risk for most people who try it. Yeah, this quote from a critic named Aaron, man, it hits the nail right on the head. He's arguing that because thousands of marketers are all using these exact same lists, the people on them are just getting hammered with promotions. They're not a fresh audience, they're just burned out. And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? Over here, you've got a fresh audience, people you've actually built a relationship and trust with. And over there, you've got this tired, fatigued audience that's seen a million offers just like yours. The whole argument from the critics is that with solo ads, you're pretty much always paying for that second group. And that means fewer clicks, less engagement, and just lower quality traffic overall. And that leads to an even bigger point. Aaron basically calls this the lazy man's way to make money online. Because it's a shortcut, you're not learning the real valuable skills of marketing, like creating great content or building your own audience. It might be the easy path, but it might not lead where you want to go. And this is the number that should make you pause. The critics estimate that over 90%, 90% of people buying these ads are actually losing money. Sure, they're getting clicks, they're getting what looks like leads, but at the end of the day, they're not making their money back. So you've got these two totally opposite views, right? How does a real user actually deal with this? Let's actually walk through what it's like to set up a campaign and see where you have to make these big choices. Okay, so the process itself, it's pretty simple. First, you got to add some funds. Minimum is $100. Then you pop in your affiliate link, choose your market, like make money online, and then you get to the targeting. This is where you can pick specific vendors, select only US traffic, or even target only desktop users, which some believe leads to better sales. Finally, you set your budget and your bid. And this right here, this is probably the single most important choice you're going to make on the platform. See, it's not just about buying any clicks. It's about what kind of clicks you're buying. You can go cheap with mixed clicks for maybe 50 cents a pop, or you can pay a big premium like $1.50 or more per click for so-called nurtured email clicks. The idea, the promise, is that by paying more, you're getting a better, more engaged audience. This is where the rubber meets the road. And this really is the main takeaway you hear from experienced users like marketer Mark Gray. He's basically saying that trying to be cheap and bidding low, that's the absolute worst mistake you can make. You'll just end up with a list full of junk leads that will never convert. Success, if you're going to find it here, means paying that premium for what you hope is higher quality traffic. Okay, so where does all of this leave us? Let's boil it all down to the final takeaway, which is really a classic trade-off between two very different ways of doing things. On one side of the scale, you have the unbelievable convenience and speed. I mean, you can literally get clicks to your offer today. On the other side, you've got the control and the quality you get from building your own traffic sources over time, which, as the critics argue, is the only real path to long-term profit. So here's the bottom line. Traffic Zest and platforms like it, they absolutely offer a shortcut. But you gotta understand, that shortcut is not some smooth, easy highway. It's a really risky road, and it comes with the very real danger of paying for low-quality, burned-out traffic. And the price to travel that road, the cost of good clicks, can get very, very expensive. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to one simple question. Are you just trying to buy a quick burst of clicks and hoping for the best? Or are you trying to invest the time and the effort to build a real, sustainable business for the long haul? And that's a question only you can answer.